Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. How's everyone doing today? Happy Tuesday. Right? It's Tuesday, Francisco, right?
It's Tuesday. Yes, it is.
All the days seem the same when you're, through this pandemic.
Yes.
So I always kind of forget. I'm like, hey, what day is this? Welcome, guys. Welcome to our RIA event, Miami-Dade RIA event. We're super excited to have Francisco, the owner and the founder of Reifax. We're going to give you a few minutes to hop on in. Today, just so you guys know, we'll put some poll questions throughout the day. Besides some of the poll questions, if you have questions, specific questions, put it in the Q&A, please. The chat moves too quick. We will also, in the chat, we'll put some links for upcoming events. Also, if you want more information about the software, all the above. Good morning, Bruce. I feel like Bruce has been on every one of our events so far, so I like Bruce. And not only is one of our students, but big supporter. So welcome. Good morning. What's up, Lucien? How are you? Look, a couple of our students saying hello. How's your rehab going, Lucien? Did you get it sold? I know some people went to the rehab this past week. Good morning. Give me a thumbs up that if you could actually see Francisco's screen. That way I know. Okay, awesome. Yep, you're raising your hands. Thanks, Stephen. Correct. Awesome. How many people have been following us throughout COVID? And I'm just kind of curious as Francisco, I don't know if they're sick of my voice or Ryan's voice. They're probably happy to hear someone else's voice for a change through this COVID thing.
Well, we've been using this format for a while. That's not new to us. You know, everybody else jump in where they have no other choice. But again, we've been using it for a while.
Yeah. I know you guys have been doing webinars for what, almost 8 years. So for us newbies in these technology, you're a technology company. I am not technology friendly, but I'm learning, so there's no excuse. So that's part of it, right?
You guys are doing a very good job.
Look, we pay you to say that, right? And so the cool thing is, just so you know, with technology, just out of curiosity, where is everyone from? Are you in Miami-Dade, Broward, out of state? I know right now Francisco is in Puerto Rico. So is anyone further from the US than Francisco, I'm wondering, on this webinar?
Okay.
Got a bunch of homesteads.
That is true. You can go out of the country and work outside here.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
As long as you got a good internet connection, you're in good shape. I got a Plantation, Hollywood, Miami-Dade.
You tell me, I hope it is good enough.
And again, just give us the Tamarack, Hollywood, Plantation. Yeah, Jacqueline says she's done it. Can't beat the laptop lifestyle. I totally get it. So give us another minute or two. And in the meantime, we'll get started shortly. So actually, you know what? I'm going to put my first poll up there. Again, today is about Reifax. What I'd like to do is actually just introduce the owner and founder of Reifax, Francisco. Francisco's been beta testing with Bria for, I want to say it's about 10 or 12 years, I want to say, somewhere around there. He's been doing all our boot camps. He shows up and really teaches, what the system does. And for me, the funny part is being a user for 10 or 12 years, it is amazing how far you've come across. Like, meaning, I'm thinking about it's like iPhone 1 versus, I think the new iPhone's coming out today, so iPhone 12. So it's the same thing. So I know some of you guys, and again, we're putting the poll up there, your experience level with Reifax. I know we have a lot of current subscribers, a lot of people that don't know it yet. And even if you used it in the past, what I want to tell people, there has been so many upgrades and changes in Reifax. It's amazing. So, and I know you guys are going to have a ton of questions. So Francisco has about an hour and a half. There is no way we could teach you the whole system in an hour and a half. If it was up to Francisco and he tried to show us everything, it might take 5 days, literally, because it does so many things. So I'm going to try to answer as many questions. We're going to give you like the highlights of everything. So a couple big things, because I always get this question, so I'm going to already stomp it out up front. If you do want to join, and what I'll do is I'll put a link in the chat as he's speaking, how you could join Reifax. We do get a discount here at Bria. We convinced Francisco to give us a discount with our code, and there's no contracts. So, you know, he's so confident, you know, that if you use the system, you're going to be stuck with them. You're going to be a long-time user like myself. So you could always try out the system, right? Use it. He's got a ton of help videos, great customer service. I mean, he wants you to use the system. If you use the system, he knows you're not going to leave. So without further ado, I am going to pass it on to Francisco. And not only, as I said, he's a friend first, and he's our #1 software guy. And this is what we used in our coaching program. So, and the last thing I'll say is we constantly get people, you know, talking about other software companies, you know, whether it's PropStream, you name it, you know, fill in the blanks. And we've looked at most of these, and we always stick with Francisco because I'll ask him, hey, does it do an Airbnb feature? Oh, it doesn't do that. Or I'll ask like 4 or 5 questions, and that new software doesn't work as well. And for us, you know, we predominantly buy in Florida. I can't imagine a better software than Reifax currently. So, and Francisco, the floor is yours, the screen's yours, and I'll leave it up to you.
Thank you very much, Anish. Talking a little bit about back in the day, we actually start working with real estate clubs like Bria in 2006 and 7, at the end of 2007. And one of the things that we actually laser focus is to listen what you have to say. What are you as real estate investor? What are your needs? And it's funny because like my staff is used to that we have a meeting every 15 days so we can actually read the suggestions of you guys. And out of, we usually have like between 10 to 15 suggestions. We evaluate the suggestions, and what we do with those suggestions is we put it in practice. Usually out of 15, 10, we say that that are worth actually the work to do it, and it's going to be a benefit for everyone. So what we do is actually develop those. Sometimes it takes days, sometimes it takes months in order to develop those suggestions. Depends on the grade of the difficulty that they might present. But at the end, the system is like a living organism. It's always growing to whatever you guys want. And that's the process. What I'm going to do now, I want to start seeing some features or searches of the system. But one of the things that I love to say while talking to you guys is our main feature, or what we're more focused about, is actually finding deals for you, okay? That's our main focus, because we understand that you need is money. If you are here in a beautiful day like today, it's because you want to make money. That's where focus you in finding you money. Now, how do we find you deals? The way that we find you deals is this way. We consider that the deal have 2 main components. The first one is actually money. the property needs to have what? Equity, okay? And the other one is the seller motivated? So not only the equity, but the seller needs to be motivated. Of course, you can make money also with short sales, but let's try to focus right now and here in order to find properties that you don't have to do a long process. It doesn't mean that focus is short sale is not a good source of deals, but again, if you can do an easy deal, that's preferable than taking or doing a short sale, which is a longer process. So let's talk about properties that are
Hey guys, I'm not sure. I think I just lost Francisco. Give me a thumbs up if you at least you could still hear me. So I guess the idea is maybe the connection in Puerto Rico is not as good as we thought. So hang in there, guys. I do see that you guys I do have some connections going on here. Hold on one second. We got Francisco dialing back in. Give me one quick second. And by the way, I do see a lot of you guys are actually realtors too. So one of the things the system does work for is for realtors. So let me see if I could get Francisco back on. Hang in there, guys. He is up. Hey, Francisco, we want to throw back you're silent right now. Yep. Can you turn on your microphone, please?
okay. Sorry about the hiccup. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're back in. So do you want to go ahead and share your screen again?
Okay. Yes.
So maybe the internet in Puerto Rico isn't as good as we thought. or tell the family to stop watching movies. I know you guys are on the Wi-Fi. Okay. So thanks, guys.
Actually, it was in my phone. Okay, can you see me?
Yeah, we could see it, and I could see the screen.
Okay, so what we're going to start to do is this. We're going to start to finding motivation. Is how do we know the seller is motivated? And we're going to start with the first and the main motivation to sell a property, which is that the property is in actual foreclosure or is in the foreclosure process. So what we're going to do here is actually finding properties that are in pre-foreclosure and selecting by default Broward County. We can do examples with other counties by request. But let's say we are selecting only pre-foreclosures in Broward County. Let's see how many pre-foreclosures single family in Broward County. And usually as a real estate investor, we focus in single family properties, and probably a niche is, you know, we give you a better explanation why. So here we have 4,900 properties that are in pre-foreclosure that are single family in Broward County at this moment. This is really a really good sign of motivation, okay? But there are some things that we used to do here in order to what we call clean this list. When I say clean, I mean to this. I don't want properties, for instance, that are for sale. Why? Because if I'm running properties that are in pre-foreclosure, in this case, I want properties that are not for sales because I want to deal directly with the homeowner. I don't want to deal with anyone else. I don't want to deal with a realtor in this case. Let's do the search again. Instead of 4,900, we're going to find 4,714 properties. Okay. Now, one of the other things that real estate investors usually do, they put a cap into the market value of the property. And that cap is usually around 350,000. The reason? Very simple. Properties that are equal or less than 350,000, you can easily sell it to a hedge fund. Property higher, there's a different market that is harder to resell. So usually a real estate investor is aiming to these kind of properties. So let's do that again. Out of 4,700 properties, how many properties are we going to find that have that age? 2,580. Okay, so these are the ones that are below 350,000. If you want to go a little bit higher than 350, you can do it, because if you're looking for discounts, normally it will go below that threshold. Anyhow, this is an example. So we find here motivation, and we find properties that are below market value of 350,000. But what we haven't searched yet is for equity. Okay? And that's the part that this system is special, because it will find you not only the motivation, but it will find you the equity. And again, if we're looking for a deal, we not only need the motivation, but we need money. We're looking for money. We're looking to make money in this business. And in order to get that, we need to put equity. And the equity that I'm looking for is equal or greater. Here, I will start with 30%. I have clients that are greater than 30%, but you can, that's a good way to start. So how many properties are there? 1,380. Those are, I'm going to actually do or show you what we so far did. We have Broward County pre-foreclosed single family homes that have a debt to equity ratio of at least 30%, that are not for sale, and the market value is 350,000. So these right here, guys, are 1,380 potential deals. Additionally, you can add to this list motivation. When I say motivation, what is more motivated than this list right here, right now? You can find another sign of motivation, and it will be non-owner occupied, or so people call it absentee owners. So not owner occupied or absentee owners. Remember, the results were 1,380, but we're going to be seeing here that are actually not owner occupied, 210. This is a short list, but it's an additional sign of motivation. Now, be very careful, guys, not to overstretch and have a very reduced amount of properties. You can't go and ask only for 200 properties, too little in the universe that you have. And you're going to be very limited if you only focus on 200 properties. But again, yes, the system allows you to find those additional motivations within the system. And I don't recommend it to go that far into the search process that you get 50 properties and the presumption would be all these guys are super motivated. Not all the time that's the case. So my advice to you over the years, what I was see over the years is don't go that far into the search that is too little, okay? Anish, I see some hands that are raised. Do you have any questions related to this?
Yeah, I have some questions. They're more general questions because they're asking any plans for Michigan, or do you want to actually talk about what states you're in
Oh,
currently?
the states that we have available right now are
Correct.
California, New Jersey, Maryland, Florida, and Massachusetts is coming. It's at the door at the moment.
Okay, got it.
Those are the ones that we have available. But we have on the pipeline other ones, but I don't even want to mention it right now. Okay.
Okay. And I know the Florida counties, I believe you're in every county except two of them, right?
No, they're all of
Uh,
them.
you're in all of them also?
I don't. I don't want to. I'm not 100% sure. I'm 99% sure that we have all the counties, but I don't want to jinx it. You can actually go to the chat and ask my staff, but I'm 99.9% sure at the moment that we have all counties available
Okay.
in Florida.
And just so I'm getting some questions in the chat or the Q&A about the screen. If you change your view on your computer, usually there's a view button. You can make Francisco's face smaller, my face smaller, and you'll get a full screen of Reifax of what you could see. So it's something on your side. So just make sure if you go ahead and try that, that should work. Let's say I have a question from Carlos. How many should we follow if it's not just 200 or 50? What's a good number to target?
That's a question for you.
Yeah, so for us, right? So again, one of the things is Francisco is actually a software guy, right? And he listens to investors. So what we try to do is, because it's about the follow-up. If you don't have a good follow-up system, to go after 1,000 properties or 500 properties, it's going to be useless. The chances, right, that they're going to take your deal the first time or sign a contract are slim. Have we done it? Yes, we've done it. But generally speaking, imagine I knocked on your door or talked to you and I said, hey, I want to buy your house. Usually the question will usually happen where they'll say, well, let me think about it, right? Let me talk to my wife. Let me talk to my husband and I'll call you back. And usually they don't call you back, right? And then you got to try again. So if you have that initial contact and you're not following up with them, it's a wasted lead is the way I look at it. So I think that's just a best way is to keep it limited and targeted and then add on as you're going. Also, I have Sharon asking the best way to contact these owners. So I know, Francisco actually with his dialer version or the full-blown version, the Cadillac part of it, I always say with all the bells and whistles, he actually has a skip trace feature that's actually built into the program. And the cool thing is it's unlimited, correct, Francisco? Like usually most of the other companies I know, it's $1 per lead. If you're doing this full time, you're going to realize $1 per lead does not sound like much until you get that bill. You skip trace 200-300 people, you're like, crap. And the other end of it is with the system that he's using, right, with Reifax, you could actually import that in your CRM management system. So he has thought of all those things. We actually have the full version and we are using those functions. So those are some of the
I can tell you, I always ask the clients that we consider are more successful in this system, and I ask them straight, what's your secret? And basically the secret is follow up. And somebody asked how many people should I follow up? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to respond you this way. As many as you can do efficiently. As simple as that. I have clients that they follow up in 1,000 properties themselves because in the follow-up system, they're allowed to do it efficiently. I have clients that follow up in 5,000 properties. How do they do it? They have a system account. They have 6, 7 people working for them, following up for them. Fortunately, the system, or this new version of the system, allows you to have additional accounts that they can actually share data between the accounts. So if you want what we call an assistant account, you can actually create it. But my recommendation to you is this: never start with an assistant if you don't know how to do things yourself. Okay? And normally, most people that are starting, that are new in this business, they don't know how to do things by themselves. And this is when people like Anish and Bria comes in. Why? You don't have a good accountability partner, guys that are looking over your shoulders when you are starting. It's going to be really hard for you in order to get into this business. So I can't stress this enough, guys. If you think education is expensive, which I don't consider Bria's mentoring program expensive, if you want to check, the ones that are nationwide are a lot more expensive. And try ignorance. Ignorance it actually costs you a lot more money, because you in this business you can lose money real quick and really fast. I have seen it happening to clients, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. So that's my recommendation.
Yeah, absolutely. And Francisco, just so you noticed on the poll, almost half the people on today's webinar, they're actually realtors. So I know I get this question all the time, right? Well, I have the MLS, right? I don't want to pay for another service. And you could correct me on this, because you know, Ryan and I are both licensed agents. The easiest way I tell people is that the MLS is built for realtors to sell real estate.
And it's an excellent system to do that, Anish.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't recommend other system than the MLS to sell properties, because it works wonders. If you're looking to sell a property or to rent a property, you should put it into the MLS. And that system is designed with that purpose. The problem is that system, the MLS, is not designed to speculate, to find equity. Okay? And we speculate on how much money you will get if you actually are looking for equity. There is no search by equity in the MLS. If you want to do a search by equity, being by potential equity, or what we call potential equity, or debt to equity, it's not going to be possible for you to do it. It's not because the MLS is bad. The MLS is an excellent system. It's because it's not designed with that purpose. It's not designed with real estate investors in mind. It's designed for selling properties. And again, I'm going to say it does it very, very, very well.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, you know, Francisco will tell you with Reifax, it scrubs all the lists, you know, through public records, IDX, right? Which is what the MLS uses also. It makes it easy to find in one spot too. So when you're actually working deals, whether you're an agent or an investor, it's great that you can find rentals right away. You know, what the property rent for. It's got an Airbnb feature. I mean, it's got a ton of stuff. So we do have a lot of realtors that are actually using Reifax just for their realtor business, right? They're actually using the skip trace portion. And for the guys that don't know skip trace, basically, I guess, what's the easiest way to explain skip trace, Francisco? What would you say is the easiest way?
Skip trace is basically, you need the owner information from the property owners, and usually it comes with the relatives information. Let's say you have a property that John Smith and James Smith and the owners, but you also know or want to know information related to Paul Smith, which is a brother of a sister, or Paul Smith, which is the daughter, because sometimes you cannot actually talk to the owner for whatever reason. You want to talk to someone. So the system is going to give you not only phone numbers, but it's going to give you emails related to all these people that is related to that property. So that's one of the things that the system actually does. And again, that allows you to do what? To follow up and actually try to reach these people.
I mean, the biggest thing I tell people, right? Whether you're a realtor or you're an investor, the goal is to get to the homeowner, right? I mean, you know, it's great doing letters. You know, we do letters, we knock on doors, but you know, we're getting a lot of deals right now just cold calling, actually calling the customer. So if you have more phone numbers, family members, you know, that helps out. It increases the probability of getting a deal if you're actually talking to somebody too. So I think those are important. I do see also, I just put a poll up there about software. So
it's interesting. I wanted to do a take on this.
Yep.
This poll, it says that 28% of you do not use any software in order to find information. And 18% actually use Zillows, and they only use the realtor software, which is, you know, that what you're doing, it might be all right. But I will tell you this, the national realtor.com and Zillow, they are, again, created with a different purpose that you're trying to use it, guys. The purpose that you're trying to use is to find deals, to find money, to make money. And if you don't have the right tool belt, you may be trying to build, you know, a house with a spoon instead with a hammer, just to give you a reference. Be very careful. The tools that you use in your business are really important because it's gonna save you the most important asset that you have at this moment, which is time. Yep. Your most important asset is time. If you can go to public record by yourselves and find out if a property is in foreclosure, when it was sold, yes, you can do that by yourself. But again, in order to do analysis of one property that we're going to give you in seconds, you probably have to spend an hour in public record finding out what that property is about. So my advice is, you know, save time. If you save time, guess what? You can actually reach to more properties. And you have the potential or the potentiality to make more deals. Your time is your most important asset. If you don't have, if you have an Excel spreadsheet, and with that you are following up in, I don't know, 50 properties, guys, you can do that. Or you can have a very good proof follow-up system that is going to help you to follow up in thousands of properties, to send contracts in seconds. That's the right tool for actually doing this kind of business.
Yeah, and so a couple of things just to add on that, and I'll let you go back to the system. I know we're trying to answer some questions also as we're going, and I'll give you the perfect example is when I used to look up probates in Miami-Dade, this was obviously years ago, I actually went to the courthouse. So as you can imagine, I parked, I had to go through all the paperwork. It was a pain in the butt. The other thing is, like, you know, we're talking about realtor.com, Zillow. The problem, even the realtors, right? I know we have a lot of realtors here. Some, you know, it's different being a realtor and an investor. So, you know, a lot of times the realtor might say, hey, there's about $10,000 in equity. And I say, great, what am I going to do when I buy it? How am I going to make any money? So when you have, you know, the MLS, again, it's, you know, a great system. It just doesn't do as much. If you're building a business, right, you definitely need, as a minimum, software, right? You want to have a business card. There's some basic things that you need to start your business. And the best example I always use is, imagine your next door neighbor said he's willing to sell his house. And, and he says, hey, Nish, I know you're a cash buyer. What are you going to offer me? And if you don't have the right software, you're using realtor.com or Zillow, it's not going to give you the information you want. right? You don't know what's going on in the neighborhood. You know, you might ask your realtor friend, right? So my realtors, you know, if you want to put in the chat, how many of you guys have investors that just use you for information and never close a deal with you, right? Oh, Anish, can you do those comps for me? Can you do those comps? And then you find out they never buy anything and it's a waste of time. So you want to make sure, you know, you're using something, it's part of your business. So that's what I think that's important too. So I'll let you go back, Francisco, to work on the
yeah, I'm going to continue
on your
with
system.
what we call,
Yep.
yes.
And the last thing, and I do see a lot of you guys, the new poll I'm putting up right now, I do see a lot of you guys have not done deals this year. That's okay.
Congratulations,
Again,
guys.
yeah, so we just want to make sure that you're at the right place at the right time. These are the tools that you're going to need. So, you know, you're here learning, you're learning about software. So again, we've all started from somewhere. So, all right, Francisco, I'll let you back on your system. You don't want you to get
Congratulations in this year to that, you know, to staying in business. It is actually really good for you. And in my perspective, and what I have seen in people, that there are a lot of deals right now happening. This is the feedback that every single real estate club and investors that I talk to regularly tell me, you know, it's good right now. So for you out there that has no deals, it's probably a very good time to start. And again, I'm going to show you how. Again, we were talking about motivation, and we find in pre-foreclosure that is actually a really good motivation in order to find deals. But we only don't talk about pre-foreclosures. We actually find other type of motivations. And those exactly are the one that we want to talk about. I'm going to erase this search that we did originally for pre-foreclosures. I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to go instead with pre-foreclosures, I'm going to go with probates. For the one of you that do not know what is a probate property, it's a succession. Somebody died and left the property to someone else. And this is real estate investors' prime time. They really want to know who is in probate, the earliest the earliest they can find out the possible. I have some people that actually talk to funeral homes to get information. I consider that a little bit extreme. I wouldn't go there, but I'll tell you this, guys. We take the information that we take from probate, we take it directly from the publications. So when the probate is published, it's actually in what we call the newspaper. What this publication shows, these online publications, we take it and we actually put it in the system. So knowing that, let's find out how many single family properties are in Broward County. So you have an idea. There are 5,106 probates in Broward County. I'm sorry, there are more than that, but we're talking about single family properties. Now again, how many of those have equity?
Well, actually, Francisco, before you even do that, can you see how many of those, are for sale?
Okay, that's actually a really good. Okay, no, I'm sorry. For sale, yes. Okay.
Right, so 5,106 properties that are probate, single family in Broward County. And let's see how many are for sale.
127. 127 for sale.
Okay, so what that means, guys, when we say for sale, that means it is listed with a real estate agent.
Correct.
Right, so every person is, right, I call my realtor, hey, can you find me a probate in Broward County? And they're gonna pull up these 127 properties. What we're talking about is, what about those other 4,900, don't make me do the math, you know, that quick, but 4,980 some odd people.
Yeah, this 2% of the inventory is for sale.
Yep. And now I'll let you go ahead and do the one with equity. You want to see how many of those actually have equity?
Yeah, let's put the ones in no. You want to say equity in the one that are yes?
Sure. Let's do both. We'll do right. So equity, guys, what that means is
30% equity. The debt
30%. 30% or more. So they might own
110.
How many?
110. This is a very common characteristic of a probate. They usually have a lot of equity.
Absolutely.
Out of 127, 110 have 30% or more equity. Now, are these guys really motivated? We don't know. They're selling the property. What you need to find is, okay, what is this probably have some other kind of motivation? Motivation probably is already a motivation. Yeah. But if you find a probate that the owner is not in living in the house, that's probably a her that is living in New York, for instance, and the parents died in Florida. Those are motivated to sell because they don't want to take care of the property.
Absolutely. Now, can you do the ones? Can you do the ones that are not for sale?
Yeah.
Right. So everyone's battling for the 110. Right. Everyone's at home talking to their realtor. Please get me that offer. Please get me that house. And the funny part is, even on the MLS, I don't think there's a way to know. There's no tab on the MLS that says 30% equity or more. You know, you can't find out. You don't know if there's equity or not.
Well, there are 4,979 probates. Out of those, with equity,
let's say how many?
30% or more. 4,375. That's a really good number.
So guys, here's the point, right? Instead of the 110 properties, right? I guess don't make me do math fast enough, but you're right. It's probably less than 2% of the properties. Everyone's battling for that, right? You're going to be competing, right? And this is where the conversation always happens. I feel like there's so much competition here in South Florida. Yes and no. If you're going the normal route, you know, through a real estate agent, or you're going through auction, absolutely, there's a ton of competition. If you're doing things and going after the people that are not for sale, the idea is to get direct to the owner, direct to the representative. And again, that's just probate. So
one of the other things is, let's find out who is, which of these are not owner occupied.
Yeah.
Out of these 4,300 and something.
Okay. So again, not
765.
For sale. Oh, your screen's faster than ours. Hold on a second. We're not seeing it. There it is, 765. So these are non-owner occupied with probates.
Correct.
What's the chances, right, that they want to keep the property, right? Unfortunately, you know, like we live in Florida, or I should say fortunately, but unfortunately there's a lot of, you know, transplants. Their kids live up north, right, or in a different state. What are they going to do with the property, right? They're not looking to be a landlord more often than not, just from our experience. So Correct. What happens if you target those guys?
Or maybe the property is not in the best condition possible. That they really want to take the property out of their hands.
Can I get you just to change one thing on this parameter?
Yeah,
can you do Dade County? I know we're the Broward, and I always get the same thing. Like, what's it like in Dade? So we're equal opportunity on all three counties, guys.
Okay.
Because all my Dade people are like, well, it must be nice. It's different.
Okay, let's do Miami-Dade again. Equity 30%. Single family. I'm going to take off the owner occupied for a moment and then put it on again.
Yeah.
So this is with equity 30% or more. It's a really huge number. 6,083.
Wow.
And if we do that, the same thing, we do it with non-owner occupied.
Right. And again, this is 30% or more equity. So I think that's always important to know.
It's 647.
And we're only picking
about the same than Broward.
Yeah, but we're only picking single family homes too. We're not even saying it's everything.
No.
Again,
if we put condos, the number is going to be a lot higher than this.
Yeah.
Okay, so for sale, no, perfect. One of the other things that we can play with in here is actually, okay, let me take probates, yes, okay, but I also want to know how many of those are tax delinquent. That's a sign of motivation that I advise you to look when you are in a probate. But they're not paying taxes. It's because they are not spending enough time in order to take care of the property. Okay?
Yep.
So I will go greater than 0. Be careful, don't put equal or greater than 0 because it's going to include an O. It has to be greater than 0, which is over 1. And with 30% equity, it's going to be a little bit less, of course. This case, 167. Those you can identify that these guys, you know, have not the same care than the other properties that actually are paying their taxes. Again, these guys have equity here. Let's do the same search in Broward County. To see how many they bring. 351, you have more. And you can see here, you can identify that a couple of them are for sale. So we can actually see, you can see here is the probate. You can also see the probate details here. Samantha Fitzgerald is the attorney and this is the representative. And this is the probate information. And you want to see how much they owe in taxes. They owe 2018 and 2019. They have $36,000 in debt in taxes. This is $1 million property. I was wondering, wow, where is this property? It's $1 million property, okay? It's actually for sale in how much? In $959.
Yep.
Okay, the market value that we're giving the property is 1.5 million. You need to be careful when searching by comparables in properties that are that big and they are close to the sea. You need to be more careful in doing comps in properties like this. You need to actually take them into the comps and play with them a little bit more. Because there are big houses, normally the comparables are not all in that area. Okay, so we can actually check the comparables of the property. And you can see that probably in the same area, but not up that close. This seems to me that it's kind of like a farm area here. Big houses. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to go into detail, but it's actually plantation. So if anyone actually buy this property and make money with this property, my daughter is a realtor. She can take commission.
Absolutely, right? Hey, Francisco.
I used to say I was a realtor, but now I have better luck with her.
So, Francisco, I do have a lot of questions. So I'm just going to kind of run through a couple questions that people are asking.
Okay.
How do you calculate the Reifax value?
Okay.
Isabel's asking. Do you want to? So how do you actually get that value? What's the?
Okay, we're going to go through that.
Yep.
Well, let's do it this way. Remember, I'm teaching you how to find properties that are not in the multi-listing. They're not for sale at the moment. I'm going to clear this search, and actually I'm going to find properties now that are for sale. Single families for sale that have a potential equity equal or greater than, I would say, 25% to see if we can get more. Single family in Broward that the market value of the property is equal than $400,000. Okay, so I'm looking, and this is something that the multi-listing won't do again, because again, the multi-listing is not created to speculate. We do. We're trying to find you deals. We're trying to find you equity. These are properties that are for sale and potentially have equity. And we call it potentially because we cannot know for sure they have equity. Okay, so that's what we call a potential equity. Remember, in this specific search, the ones that we're showing to you, we don't know if they have equity related to the debt, but we know that they have equity related to the listing price. So we forget about the debt here. We focus only in listing price. In this case, you're going to find, with this house, it's in Hollywood, 33023. This area is usually an investor dream because the houses are, easy to sell. They're in the blue collars neighborhood. They're easy to sell, and the investors usually make money. I don't know if you want me to give that away, Anish. I'm sorry.
Hey, Francisco, can you just actually double click on that one? There you go. And just show them that, like, comparables, active comp, like, just kind of run through those tabs a little bit, because people are asking about comps and active comps.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, perfect.
In this case, this profit is listed in $225,000. And we're telling that this property is $303,000. You can see there is like $78,000 difference between the listing price and the market value of the property. So why? Well, really doesn't matter why, you're just looking for money. But let's check on the listing information. See? Cash only. So the system finds this deal with the parameters, and you can see by the description that this is a deal for real estate investor. Cash only, great opportunity for investor, 3-1, whatever. That's the information. But let me show you how we actually calculate market value. We have here 7 comps. These are the comps related to the area. All the comps that we're going to bring are more or less 10% of the square footage, half a mile, 12 months. All of them. More or less 10% of the square footage, half a mile, 12 months. These are the comps related to that property. You do calculate, you see it's 303,000. Okay, this property has 1,500 square footage. 1,500 square footage. Okay, so the properties that you can see are more or less 10% those 1,500 that you saw. So it's what we call a close comp. Now, as you can see, 6 of the properties were sold through the multi-listing. You can see because the color is brown. If you want to find out what every single color means, you go to the legend here, and it will tell you what the color code of the system is. But even though I can see, because there is not a listing number, that this property was not sold to the multi-listing. And the rest of the properties did. Okay, that's the way that you calculate market value. Now, is market value set in stone? No, guys. Remember, the market value that we calculate is basically a tendency that we calculate with these parameters. I'm going to tell you the parameters again. More or less 10% of the square footage, half a mile to a month. Okay? These parameters will also give you a market value that between 90 to 97% of the time, depending on the area, is going to give you a really close market value. Okay, can this market value change? Remember, this is an art, okay? So how can I change this market value? Well, usually what happens if you are selling, you can do this. If you are buying the property, you can select the three lowest. It's going to give you a value. This is a good market value, 232. Yes, it is. It's valid. You have three comps. Okay? But that is you are buying. If you are selling, you can do with the three highest. Calculate 310. Which one of these two are the one that is correct? All of them. Okay, what we do is actually we calculate the median value between all of them. 303,000, that's the median value. Can you also expand the comparables? You can do a filter, and in between the filter, you can say only I want properties that are not between half a mile, which is what we use, but what properties that go up to 1 mile, because I want more comparables. See how many comparables do I get in a mile? Many. So let's do that. Let's calculate again the value. And amazingly enough, it's giving me the same value between a mile and between half a mile. Do it again. Yes. Sometimes it happens. The median value is coincidental with between half a mile and a mile. That happens too. So again, that's the way that we calculate market value. And I can't stress this enough, guys, that a market value that we calculated is a tendency. It's not going to be accurate 100% of the time in 100% of the situation, but it's going to give you a very good idea of how much the property is. In this case, between a mile, if you take into consideration the three lowest, it's going to be very low because you have a comparable that is 19,500. So you have 80,000 in the lower side, but in the higher side, $325. So it's between 80,000 and 325. It's too much range in there. So what we do is if you take all of them and actually calculate the value, it's going to give you what we call the median between all the properties. Median is usually a statistical, it's a statistical terminology that tells you that we go to the median, the property that is actually in the middle of all of them. In this case, there are 48 properties. Out of 48 divided by 2, 24 properties. We take the 24 and the 25th property, and we actually take the 24th and the 25th, and we do an average, and that average is going to be the value that we actually showing you here. And we don't do it by the value of the property, we do it by the value per square footage of the property. So we do it the same way that an appraisal would do. We'll actually do it.
Yep. Francisco, I just want to
So
add
that's
because
for comparables.
Francisco, I just want to add because I'm getting a lot of questions about, what a deal is. So you have to remember, again, Reifax is a software company, right? So you can't call up their helpline and say, hey, what do you think is a good deal? What Francisco is actually showing you what's probably motivation, right? If they're not paying their taxes, they're in pre-foreclosure, somebody passes away. So they're going to show you those things. They're not, and I know they get a lot of calls, thinking that they're mentors. They are not mentors, guys. They're going to help you use the system to find the highest probability to get a deal, but you have to let them know, right? They don't know if you're buying out of state.
That's a niche job.
Yeah, I just tell people that, it's a little bit of a challenge, and I know it's a challenge for them too, because what you might think is a good deal, right? And maybe your market, you're willing to spend up to $1 million. Hey, that's a good deal. Or maybe it's townhouses or condos. I do get a couple questions.
Maybe looks great in paper, but when you go and see the property,
right.
For 100 different reasons, it's not a deal.
Absolutely. I know you always get this question all the time: is how often is the data updated? Generally speaking?
Well, we update the data related to foreclosures, and I always foreclosures is daily. What is the other thing? Oh, okay, the information that is coming from the IDX is updated daily. Foreclosures is updated daily. Public record is updated weekly. Actually, national companies, places like Zillow and Realtor.com, they usually update the data in a monthly basis because that's what they do. This is a lot of work, guys. We update data related to foreclosures because we understand daily, because we understand what is a stage here with you guys. And that's a very, very, very laborious process. But again, we do it because it needed to be done. That's what you're paying for.
Absolutely. And I am getting questions about support. So I know for a fact, at least, do you want to just go to show where your help, is, Francisco, to show them? I think you have over 400 videos. I might be wrong.
Yes,
and they're all
we have a lot of videos that are short and to the point. Some people ask me, why do you have a customer service? The videos are good enough in order to explaining everything. There are people that are more visual. There are people that want to talk to us. You want to talk to us, guys, we want to talk to you. And the reason is very simple. The most you know the system, the longer you are staying. Okay? One-on-ones are free in this house. If you want to call us and schedule 3 one-on-ones a week, we do it for you. We have no problem. Thing is, you need to set up a schedule, and we're going to answer all your questions. We prefer that when you go into the one-on-one session, you have your questions and you have everything that you want to learn. Write it down so we can go and actually maximize that session for you and make it the best learning process possible. But again, we actually call you when we see you're not using the system enough. We call you, say, hey, there's something going on. You need something you need to learn. That's the kind of company we are.
Absolutely. And actually, before I let you go on that stuff, can you just flick through I know you're in the active comps, what the distressed comps, rental, just because of the time. If you want to just flick through like what the distressed comps.
I'm going to fly through all these other ones, like the active comps. Active comps is very important here because it gives you whatever it is for sale around. What's the competition? What happened? If the market value, you're buying a property in 225, even when the market value is showing here to be 303, let's say the active comps is $220,000. Not the case in this precisely, but what will happen? you will be buying something you cannot resell. Okay? Right. So you need to be careful of not only in how much are you buying related of whatever is sold, but how much are you buying whatever is selling at the moment? Because the ones that are selling is the ones that are going to predict what the future price is going to be. In this case, this is a healthy neighborhood in my perspective, because the market value is in 303 or close to 304, but the active comps are in 340. So you have a cushion if you are going to resell the property. So your competition is higher in that matter. Yeah, if we only select that one for sale, there are only 2 ones, like the subject property, and I'm going to select it instead to filter it. We do the calculation, and you see it's 327, which is a good number.
Yeah.
So this property, the ones that are 2-1 that are selling similar, and are selling similar to the subject property, 327, and the ones that, and it's listed for 225. So there is a decent room there. The other thing that you need to see is the distress comps. These distress comps have made a lot of money to many of our clients, and the reason is simple. It gives you an edge if you were negotiating a short sale, or you are trying to show the homeowner what the market looks like around his neighborhood. Meaning, all these properties that are neighbors, 23 of them are in the process of pre-foreclosure currently. So also it gives them the perspective is the problem is not only theirs, okay? If you want to make this look a little more like a crisis, you go to your filters and you extend the distance. Instead of going half a mile, you go up to a mile, and usually what happens is it increases dramatically. As you can see, 92, and before there were 23. This is like 4 times more if you go up to a mile. So you can see.
And what Francisco's saying is that we use this all the time, right? It's a for sale by owner, or we go directly to the homeowner and I say, hey, listen, do you know what's going on in your neighborhood? You know, within a mile from your house, Mr. So-and-so at Wiley Street, there's 92 pre-foreclosures and foreclosures. What happens if Citibank puts 4 up? Chase puts 5 up. Bank of America puts 10 up. I don't tell them that their values are going to go down. I let them figure that out. I just say, what are you going to do then? You know, even though I'm a licensed agent, there's no commissions. We could close as fast or slow as you need. So this little, tab has literally been worth, hundreds of $1,000s in profits over the years. I mean, it's just been, I use this all the time when I show homeowners, and usually they're shocked too. And especially what's happening right now, right now there's a hold on the forbearance and foreclosures. When that lifts, and you start putting up these numbers back in 2008, I remember pulling up like a neighborhood like this, and it'd be like 400 within a mile. So when we see those things,
it was
those
that.
opportunities. Yeah. I mean, it was just like, wow. You could literally, go out there and see that everywhere too. Also, it does, rental comps, right? So if you want to know what the house rents in the neighborhood, it does that also. Also, besides the rental comps, the Airbnb comps. So I don't know any other system that actually has Airbnb tied and comps. And this is what I mean by that, is that we've actually sold houses over market value. I know it sounds crazy. Why would anyone pay over market value? Well, when it's an Airbnb superhost and they're making, instead of $2,000 a month in rent, they're making $5,000 as a business, they will buy it all day. So we use that. once we get something under contract, we'll pull up those Airbnb comps and find those super hosts. And that was just one of our members that actually suggested that at a boot camp. And 4 months later, you know what? Francisco had, guess what I have? Airbnb comps. And then also it has the mortgage information too. So if it's in pre-foreclosure or if there's, you know, anything, like if there's a lawsuit pending, it does all that stuff. The other thing, I also get the question, I'm just going to kind of answer these as we're going because I've heard so much from, you know, being friends with Francisco for so long. So the software is web-based. So it does it on your phone also. You can literally find out where you're, or while you're driving, you could pull up all the pre-foreclosures, foreclosures. It even maps out the shortest path. I mean, so when you're actually talking to homeowners, you could actually pull up your phone and show what's going on. Besides all this, it has a full CRM management system, which we haven't even touched on because there's not enough time on it. But you could literally import all that information right into your CRM management system. And now you can remember these conversations, right? I mean, it's that easy. You could actually, if you already uploaded your contracts, you could actually upload your contracts, send them an offer. It's, you know, I mean, it does a trillion things as an understatement. So I mean, because I'm getting a ton of questions and I'm just letting people know that I would love to answer all your questions.
We don't have a system for you here, guys. What we have is a solution.
Yep, exactly.
You can hold your business here and you can grow your business here.
Absolutely. And actually, because we only have a few minutes left, so why don't we do this? I already put it in the chat. Can we, if they want to sign up, can we go to reifax.com and then show them how to do the promo code? So we used to hear, and we'll laugh, I know some of you guys are already on this, we used to send you a form and you send it back to us and we get you signed up within 24 hours. And then Francisco said, why don't you just have them sign up on our website and show them the promo code? Can we actually talk about
the three? Go to the pricing. See, this is the pricing, guys, that you usually get. That's the full price of the system. I'm gonna put this one here that include that, and he say all the whistles.
Yep. Can we talk about what the three different levels? Because I always get that versus.
Of course.
It makes my life easier.
Of course. We call Platinum, Professional, and Professional Dialer. The Platinum, you get all the the data searches that you saw available. Okay, those are in the Platinum level. In the Professional, you will get the follow-up system. Okay, that's what you will get in the Professional, additional to the Platinum. And in the Professional Dialer, what you get is a dialing system, a phone number that's gonna help you actually dial one by one. You will get the skip trace option that will bring not only phone numbers but emails related to the owners and the extended family of the owners that are in the property. We also do give information related to the owners of companies that owns property, if those companies are in Florida. Just to be clear, we only at the moment are doing Florida corporations. If the corporation is not in Florida, we are not doing it at this moment. But if the corporation is in Florida, the system will out of the way and actually try to get the name of the owners of the company and put it into the system.
And Francisco, can you actually explain what the follow-up system, and can you just like quickly just say what what it?
Just let me show them a little bit how they in here what you asked. If you put here in the promotion code, you put BRIA. Mm-hmm. In that you will get that new price or the discount that we will talk about. As you can see, the 2,990, which is the highest one, you will get it for 2,240 as an annual subscription. So remember, in order to get the price, the offer price to the system, you have to write down the code BRIA, and then you will have that discount.
Can you do the
what were you saying?
Wait, Francisco, can you also do the monthly? No, can you do the monthly discount also? Because some people might want to try it out before they're all in.
Yeah.
So let's just do the follow-up.
This is what it costs monthly. You can go as low as this, Platinum 1 county. $109, you go BRIA.
Right. So a couple things, just so you guys know, right, is people are asking about skip trace. You need the dialer. You need the $299, and with our discounts, $224. So you absolutely need that for the skip trace. But if you want to try and say, hey, look, I just want the basic searches that Francisco was showing, and you want to do 1 county, you could actually do the Platinum 1 county. If you want to do multiple counties or all, the whole state, then it's the 179. So it just depends on which one you want to do. Again, if you're all in, right, and you say, listen, I'm already ready to do this. If you pay up front, this is what he's trying to tell you, is that you actually get 2 months free. So that's the other thing. There's no contracts either. So I don't want you to think
there's no contracts either way.
Yep. So I think that's always important too. So, and now if you want to go back to the follow-up system, sorry, I know I have you jumping around a little bit.
No, that's perfectly fine. You were asking something that you wanted to go somewhere else, Anish. What was that?
Oh, well, I was just actually can you just show them like the help, right? Like, so
of course,
people have been asking about help. So you could do unlimited one-on-ones with their office.
Help. The help of the system is all in video. And you can drive by basic concepts, content control panel, accounts, billing, dashboard. I mean, everything you need. If you put here and you search contracts, it's going to show everything related to contracts. Okay? And it's going to actually show you the video. Okay? That doesn't mean, guys, that you cannot call us. You can call us anytime you want. We also have the chatting system over here. You can talk to us. And again, our best interest is to actually teach you the system. The other thing that we do, we actually have a webinar explaining the system every single Friday at 10 a.m. We've been doing this since we started in 2007. We're doing 1 webinar a week at 10 in the morning. And the good about that webinar is not only that we save those webinars and we actually have an archive, but additionally, what we have for you is during that webinar, the question that other investors ask in there are really important. We consider that key because that many people have aha moments during those sessions and says, okay, that probably is the place that I needed to go instead of this other way.
Yeah. And so I got a couple quick questions. We're almost out of time. I've gotten a ton of questions. So if you guys email me directly, what I can do is I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if I can't specifically answer it, what I'll do is I'll pass it on to Francisco or his team. And that way, they can help answer any of those questions. I know it's been kind of a challenge, and I'll also put my phone number. I am getting questions. So I'm going to talk about a couple of little side note. We did put a poll up about our boot camp that's coming up. And so one of the things is it's a 2-day intensive boot camp. And we're going to show you A to Z how to flip a house. We're going to talk about evaluating houses. We're going to show you how to use Reifax to evaluate those houses also. We're gonna actually have Francisco on board for the boot camp for about an hour. Jose Ramirez from Advanced Tax Advisors. We're going to talk about cost segregation. We're going to talk about what's the right structure for wholesaling. We will also be talking about with Kevin Thatcher. He's going to talk about double closings, assignments of contracts. We're actually also going to evaluate properties. When we used to have live events, hopefully this will start in January, we're hoping to be back to live events, we would actually walk properties. But Ryan and I are gonna film some properties and we're gonna analyze them with our contractor. And then we're gonna break you up into teams to basically evaluate a property. So it's gonna be a 2-day intense training, but the idea is we're using Reifax. And what today really is to open up your eyes. I did see a lot of you guys, more than half of you, have never heard of Reifax or used it. So today, I don't know, I know it's only been an hour and a half. We probably showed you about 3% of what Reifax actually does. It's kind of crazy, and I apologize because I see so many questions. So that's why if you want to email me, I'm actually going to put my phone number also, because I do see people that are interested.
I forgot to say this, guys. If any of you want one-on-one session to actually understand better what the system does, and if that fit your needs, you can go here in the system, and you can order free demo, and we do a one-on-one demo with you. Okay, and we show you the system and we will answer all the questions that you are having there. Okay, this is a representative talking only to you. Okay, and showing you the system and answering your questions. And I have people that, you know, ask for a one-on-one twice or 3 times because they're not sure. We can do that too. I mean, we really want you to feel comfortable in order to get into the system. And in that process, you learn how to, what are the features of the system.
Yep. I mean, again, as I said, like, you know, I know we're kind of beating it down a little bit. I don't know what kind of software you're using. I'm a little scared when I saw a lot of people are not using any kind of software. They're using Zillow, Realtor.com. You guys got to spend some money on software. You know, obviously we use Reifax, so I could speak about it. I know there's a lot of other great software companies. What I would tell you is some of those companies are good if you're doing stuff out of state. If you're doing stuff in Florida, and I'm speaking from experience, I don't know if there's anything better. That Airbnb feature alone has, I'm just thinking about a house that we made an extra $15,000 by selling to a superhost. That little feature, you know, changed everything for us. So I think that's always important. Also, we do have upcoming events earlier in the chat. If you go to bria.com and you go to upcoming events, you're going to see we have a ton of free events. Ryan and I are committed to giving you guys a ton of free education, actually. We used to charge everyone for all this stuff. We're just giving it to you. So I do get the question about videos or past replays of even including this event. This will probably be up in 2 days. You go to our YouTube channel, Broward Real Estate Investors Association, and you can subscribe and you'll be able to watch these videos in case you missed something from Francisco today. If you already want to go ahead and sign up, right, for Reifax, we showed you how to do it. If you're old school and you want me to send you a form, I can. You can email me. You fill out the form and we'll send it in for you. This Saturday, we also have an event, REI Black Book. We use that part for our wholesale division to send out properties, all the above. Hopefully you guys were at our main meeting. There, I convinced those guys to actually do a free event from 10 to 1. That's this Saturday. Next Tuesday, we have our hedge fund, Sharif Medawar. If you want to work with a hedge fund manager and he's actually going to also talk about as a special bonus his tax incentive in Puerto Rico. So he's going to talk about that, and we're actually convinced him to, if you qualify, to spend 15 minutes with him to see if you qualify for investing into his hedge fund or the tax incentive in Puerto Rico. We have our boot camp coming up also. So I know we're, some of you guys are zoomed out like me, but during this time, we're still doing deals. So Ryan and I think until the end of the year, we probably have another almost 15 or 20 more events coming up. So we have also Brad from Northwest Mutual Life Insurance. I actually use my life insurance to invest in real estate. We're going to have one of our self-directed IRA companies talking about how to use your self-directed IRA, Roth IRAs to invest in real estate too. So really the point is we have a ton of stuff coming up. If you missed anything, right, watch the replay. You got specific questions, email me or call me. I do see people that are interested in our one-on-one mentoring. Call our office, set up an appointment. We could do live events or live via Zoom on or a phone call, or if you actually want to come to the office, we could do all three of those. So if that's something you want to do, our boot camp, again, we have a ton of stuff coming up. And I just want to thank Francisco all the way from Puerto Rico today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, to be able to do this.
See one of the tax advantages are in here.
Exactly. So that's one of the things that we think is really important is your education. I also put our cash buyers list on there. Again, our house is your house. So we want you to be safe during this COVID pandemic. Your safety is the most important, but we are also still doing deals today. Ryan and we're going to have an event actually in the next 30 days, A to Z, how to do a deal. We're going to show you some more deals. And, again, we're just happy that you're joining us. And again, we hope to see you pretty soon. So again, thank you, Francisco, for your help. And
thank you for inviting me.
And hopefully, you'll join Reifax, and we'll see you at our next event this Saturday. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you, guys.